Actionable business marketing tactics, local SEO edition. This is going to be a very exciting conversation, and I want to make sure that as you listen to this, you learn and you apply, because this is where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. And not just earning monetizing or earning monetarily or earning with money or earning with anything that you would think is profitable, yes, but also looking at it from the perspective of actionable tactics you can start taking today. This is one of the actionable tactics that I'm actually doing right now as you're listening to this. I'm being actionable with my marketing because I'm addressing a topic of interest that I can see that is needed. So why not bring this topic and give you something that you can process and also apply if this applies to you as a business. So actionable business marketing tactics, local SEO edition. This is going to be one of those rooms that you're going to learn about things you can do for yourself, or you can hire me, hire my agency, hire us, and get it done. So it's either you're going to get it done yourself with information you hear, or if you don't have the time for that, then let it get done for you. By the end of the day, it has to get done. And if it's not done, then you won't see the benefit of what you could be hearing or what you could be learning from what you could do. So let's get right into it. And thank you for being here, everyone, for listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. Chase, Michael, hope I said it correctly. Deolu, Anthony, thank you for being here. This is a great time, and I'm really looking forward to sharing amazing conversations with you. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, and I'll be right there to answer as soon as I see it. So one actionable business marketing tactic you can do as a business. This is going to sound crazy, but it's going to be the most actionable thing that you can do. Create a QR code. Go to a website called flowcode.com. That's one option. You can look for alternatives. And put in a code that you can create, a QR code, right? And when you create this QR code, within that QR code, when somebody scans that code, let it go to your website or your contact page or your location page or your shopping cart page or your about page. It could be anywhere on your page, kind of like saying, hey, you could be, in the room, or you could be in the kitchen, or you could be in the backyard, or you could be in the garage, or you could be, in the playground. You have to be very specific. So that's why I'm giving you this type of specific actionable tasks. So create a QR code and let people land on a page on your website. Now, when you create that QR code, print it out, turn it into, I'll call it a flyer, turn it into a sticker, turn it into something that you want to fancy, and put it on your window. If you have a brick and mortar, put it in malls, put it in business cards, put it in leaflets, put it somewhere that someone can scan it, right? Put it in restaurants if you want to work with restaurants. Put it in places, because this is local SEO. So you could have a restaurant, you could have whatever business. You could be a chiropractor, you could be a dentist, you could be doing skincare, you could be selling pet food. It's anything you want to do, you can, but you have to also apply these tasks. So why am I emphasizing on the QR code as an actionable business marketing tactic? Because if somebody is going to pull out their phone and scan this code, it's going to take them anywhere between 3 to 5 seconds, probably less than that if they're quick on it. But give or take 5 seconds, they've clicked on your website and they're in. Now, they have another 5 seconds to decide whether they're going to stay or not. Now, they could scan that code, And if you look at it as a marketing tactic, you can say, hey, scan this code to be eligible for our in-store, sale pricing of the day, or to, enroll and be eligible for our monthly offers. Whatever you're going to do, it's open space, right? You can do it that way. I'm just giving you ideas. So if you're creating this as a business, right? Welcome, Pamela. Welcome, Kay. Welcome, Jennifer. When you create this actionable QR code scanner, you're intentionally telling people, hey, scan me so you can, scratch to reveal. Make it fun. Don't just send them to your homepage. If it's there at all, let them sign up to your email list, right? That's an actionable business marketing tactic. From a QR code to a contact. And I hope you can match the filter, because when you are creating a QR code, you're creating a place for them to connect with you. Then you put that QR code on scan mode. Let you scan it first, because you don't want to print something that somebody can't scan, right? So you scan it first, test it, right? Tell your friends to scan it, tell your spouse to scan it, tell your kids to scan it, tell your significant other to scan it, tell yourself to scan it. And then when you scan it and you see, oh, okay, I see how it works, then it works. And then on your end, see whether it registered that you actually got a scan. That's very important. Welcome, Rhonda. So it's very important, right, to look at it this way, because if you can scan that code once, right, and you get a result, that result is going to tell you that, hey, somebody is interested. We're a couple of us in the room today. You're interested in the topic, but I don't know how invested you are in the topic, right? That's for you to know. I don't know that until we have a conversation. Now, as you're listening, you're probably processing and planning and praying and just putting things together so that you can decide, okay, what am I going to do in 2026 as a business? I have a business. What am I doing differently from last year? So if you've never done this before, please try this out and tell me if it works. If it doesn't work, let's see how we can make it work. But the problem is not the action. The problem is the strategy, because everyone can create an action, right? Every action has a reaction, right? So if you're going to have an impact and you're going to create an impression, and a lasting impression for that matter, there needs to be something that can be scanned, because the last thing you want to do is print 200 copies, 500 copies, and then print another 500 copies in the next 3 months. That's a lot of overhead costs that you do not need to incur. So if you're going to acquire quality over time, then an actionable business marketing tactic as a business, even if you don't have a brick and mortar, you can still do this, because if you go to a conference, you go to a show, you go to a business meeting, you go to a meet and greet, you go somewhere, you can turn those QR codes into business cards and say, okay, I'm going to print 200 of these. I'm going to print 100. I'm going to print 10. And each one I give, I should be getting something back, either a referral or a review or a sample or a sale, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be money, because relationships outlast money, right? You can't buy relationships. You have to earn relationships, and that takes time. That's why it takes time for someone to trust you. So brand-wise, business-wise, if someone's going to trust your business or trust your brand, it's going to take time for them to understand what you're trying to even offer. Some people don't even know what you're offering or what your product is. They are there, they're looking at you, they're excited, they're interested, but they don't know what to invest in, because you never gave an offer, right? You don't ask, you don't get. So if you're actionable this year as a business, a marketing tactic that will help you is to be practical with your delivery. I did this. I'm telling you things that I've done. So I'm not just telling you, hey, try this out. I'm telling you what I've done. So I'll give you an example of one of the things we did with our clients. This was back in 2023. Yeah, 2023. So we had a client in 2023 and amazing. They sell loungewear, really, really amazing loungewear and sleepwear. And they were in the Arendelle Mills Mall. That was back in the day. They're not longer there anymore. They're now online, strictly. But they were also at the mall. And I remember when we started a campaign and we said, okay, let's kick this off. This was towards Christmas time. So like October, November, December, that's Q4. And I was like, let's do QR codes. So the goal was for us to have a raffle, right? So that people who signed up to the email list were able to be eligible for the raffle so that they could win, a family loungewear set for, the winner. So if it's a couple, you get 2. If it's a set, if it's a family of 4, you get that. So the goal was to make sure that people know that they focus on family, because they're not just any type of sleepwear or loungewear. They're doing that for family purposes. And the reason why they did that is intentional, so that they can bond as a family. So I love the idea. It's not just selling loungewear, but when you all match as a family, it bonds you together. It's kind of like game night or playing, ugly sweaters and stuff like that during Christmas. So it was a perfect time to have that setting in motion. So I said, okay, let's create a QR code and let's let people know within the mall about the store. So we were able to do that. We printed a lot of QR codes. People came in, welcome Austin. People came in and it was very exciting to hear the type of questions. Appreciate you. What's up, Black? Thank you for being here, man. It's been a while. Happy New Year. So I went ahead and said, okay, let's put this out there. Let people, see it. Let people learn about the brand on their own, because I'm not going to stuff information down when it's already available online for you to scan or browse or surf. So I said, okay, this is going to be the perfect way for us to inform the people. So people asked all the kinds of questions they did, and they got their sales both in store and online. So of course, when you're in store, there's a POS, they register your name, email. Then from there, of course, you have to opt in for communication after the purchase. So that's post-purchase attribution modeling. So we're going into that phase after the purchase has been made. There's pre-purchase and there's post-purchase. So we were able to do that over the quarter, and it was successful because we realized that more families needed more information about how they wanted to connect and bond. And that's how they were able to accelerate their business online, and they were able to even acquire a lot of contacts that they still have to today. This is 3 years later. They didn't have to buy the ad, or they didn't have to buy let's say acquire the customer through a lead acquisition model, which would require a cost in effect, or a cost per click, or a cost per mil, or however you want to put it. It was a conversation. It was not, the cost was a conversation. What was the cost of the conversation? Did it earn, or did it yield, or did it just flat out disappear or dissolve, or just ignore the whole thing entirely? So that's highly dependent, welcome Trevon, on that factor. So we said, okay, yeah, let's do QR codes again. And we did that with different clients. Just last week, there's a client that we're working with, amazing client and business. They do junk journaling. And I told her, I was like, hey, have you ever done an event? And she was like, an event? Yeah. It's like, have you ever brought people together that like scrapbooking and junk journaling? And she's like, no, I do it on TikTok. She does it online and everything. And I was like, okay, we need to bring this out. So I did a quick search and I said, okay, let's do an SEO audit. Let's just audit the market. Before we even do any type of work, let's look at the market right now and the positioning of where you are and where you could be in 3 to 6 months. And she's like, okay, let's do it. So we said, okay. And she has no traffic at all on her website. This is pure, her and her business partner, they are doing purely organic, purely, in person, purely traditional, purely classic, right? So there's no online activity. So we're now coming to a digital space to integrate with what they're doing traditionally. And this is just 2 months in, so it's still very early. But the good thing that I got to see here is that when we told this, and usually this happens during consultations that I have with clients. So we usually have 12 weeks consultation, and it's every week for an hour recorded, and we're able to work through 12 weeks together to make sure that we get to that goal. And sometimes it can split to 24 weeks, 36 weeks, because we want to make sure it goes. And we've had clients, years and years on by. So it's really exciting to see when clients start, whether they're starting a podcast or starting a show or starting something, it builds. So with this specific client, we put it out on Eventbrite, and we said, okay, and as I'm telling you these things, these are actionable things. So I don't want you to just hear the story. I also want you to hear the marketing tactics behind the story, because that's the goal of the story, to show you how you can develop your own story from this story. So don't just think, okay, I'm looking for tactics. No, the tactics are in the details. So here we go. When I asked her, can we create an event? And I said, okay, create an Eventbrite account. She didn't even have one. I said, create an Eventbrite account. Let's start from scratch, like fresh, out, just green. And we set it up, and we said, okay, we're going to plan in a way that we're going to have a monthly schedule, right? This is a monthly schedule. Why am I giving you guys this information? You're wondering, okay, why is he telling us this? And this is something that you do privately. This is something that I love to give you as a scenario, so that when it's your turn and you put it into your business, it will work for you, because I can tell you this all day, but there's always a strategy to how things work. So I can give you a manual to how to operate an engine, or how to, fix a car. I can give you the whole manual and tell you everything you need to know. But for you to apply that knowledge and actually execute it to perfection, or at least to excellence, is going to take time and skill and experience. So that's why I love to do this, because I know that eventually it will come in good returns, because I can do this for you, because I've said it before. And Austin, you said QR codes are fascinating. User behavior, trust, branding, real-time data, attribution. Oh my, yes. Welcome, Abhishek. Yes, it's definitely a game changer. And I said, yeah, this is one actionable way you can do it, because people don't think about it. Restaurants do that too. So we asked her to, create events on a monthly basis, and we're still working on that. So we had a monthly based plan, and we said, okay, let's make it organic. Let's make it free, because she's thinking about impact and not just money, which I love, because the money will come after the impact, right? It's like the calm, and then there's a storm, and then there's an aftermath. So when you're thinking about the creation in between those things, when you think about pre-production, production, and post-production, it's that same cycle. So I told her, create an Eventbrite, talk about this exact, and I'm going to do this as a LinkedIn case study, so that you can also see this if you follow me on LinkedIn. So you can click on my profile, or just go to LinkedIn and type my name, Favour Obasi-ike, and you will see me, and you'll be able to connect to me, because I want you to see it for yourself as well. Because visually, at least you're hearing it, auditorily, but you want to see it. Yeah, it's good to have these pictures in mind, but you also want to see it visually for yourself. So I told her, let's create an Eventbrite account, create an event, and put it out there. And the event is in a month, so timing is also of the essence. If you have an event that is in 3 days and you want to sell it today, it's not going to work, because the algorithm takes time to build. So you want to build ahead of time, and that's what you call a front-end offer, right? That's another actionable strategy you can do, create front-end offers. And this is the example I'm giving you. The first one is QR codes. The second one is a front-end offer. Now, the front-end offer is where you're giving people the opportunity to make a payment or make a commitment. Let me say a commitment, because a payment could sound like, okay, I just have to make a payment. Okay, fine. Making a commitment has more value, because it has more substance. If I'm committing to something, then my whole mind, my whole body, my whole time, my whole energy is channeled to this one thing, right, that I'm committing to, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, and otherwise. So when you're creating this thing, it's to be very specific. So I said, let's create a free event, right? Let's create a free event and let this event go out. Let's make it very local based, because we're talking about local SEO today. Make it very local based. And we did a search online, and the market research was junk journaling classes near me. That's what somebody would typically look for on a day-to-day basis, right? If they want to go into that type of mood, or junk journaling workshops near me, because when you say near me, the next thing is I want to go there. Or is it close by? Can I call? Can I look it up? Can I visit? Can I walk there? Can I drive there? Right? So those are very major things that you have to think of that as well. Can I commute there? So when you're creating these actionable steps, it helps you to also become more intentional. So imagine you're compounding the effect, right? You have a QR code. You put that QR code on Eventbrite. Just think about that. Now, just have that picture somewhere in the back of your mind. So now we have this Eventbrite that is created, and it's not even up to 7 days. Welcome, Ahmed. It's not even up to 7 days. And it's very specific. She only wanted 10 people to come to the event because she has a very small space. And the space can fill more than 10 people, but the more people you fill, it feels like it's over capacity in a way. So you want to create space in between. So she wanted only 10 people. And I said, okay, let's put a cap on 10. So we got 88 page views. That's why I always mention that when somebody sees 3 impressions, 5 impressions, 5 page views, those are 5 people that could change your life. So I always look at it that way. Don't look at, 5 impressions, because what happened is that she needed 10 people, and there were 88 people that saw that page within 7 days. And out of 88 people, 10 of them were able to sign up. So she filled up and sold out a free event, right? And what's going to happen? These 10 people that are going to come, she has an opportunity to connect to them at a deeper level. So what am I saying here as an actionable step? When you're creating this effect just long term, create an event and be very intentional about what the event is. If you sell food, if you sell, makeup, if you sell parts, if you sell whatever types of samples that you may have, put those things and collaborate with brands. If you don't have a store of your own, collaborate with brands that could be within your vertical and connect with them and see how you can collaborate and build that intentionality online, right? You can build brand visibility using Instagram. You can do, brand connections. You can have that collaborators effect as well. There's so much you can do. TikTok allows you to do the same thing as well. You can create content and tag. You can do creative partnerships. You can do a lot of these things, right? If you want to go social media wise, right? If you're local, which is very important because that's going to be an actionable way that you'd have to get to, which we're going to get to too. So when you're creating these events, you're able to now let people see it. So she's on TikTok, she's on Instagram, she's, connecting with people. And when people are searching for these events, they want to connect with a person, right? Because the only reason why somebody's going to go to your event is because they see the value in what you're bringing to the table. Welcome, Mark. They see what you're bringing to the table. And if the table is set and you're also set, it's going to be a great asset. No pun intended. For all of you in the room, Austin, for all of you in the room to build momentum together, because they need you and you need them. It's a win-win. We're not competing. We don't have any conflict of interest, right? It's going to be a shared partnership. It's going to be a shared mutual beneficial growth pattern, I can call it, for you to build as a business. So if somebody knows your business, they could affiliate your business with that business. And that's a good thing if you want to end up merging or building that partnership in a way. So when you have that event, allow people to connect with you. So imagine now, at a deeper level, you have an event, right? And these 10 people are coming. Now, if these 10 people are coming, these are 10 people that you could still talk to that know 10 people. So these 10 people know 10 people. So what's 10 times 10? 100. Welcome, Marcella. 10 times 10 is 100. Hey, Michael. And if you have 100, so think about that, 10 times 10, or 10 to the power of 10. And now you have 100. That means that you, as a business, welcome, Lucas, can accelerate your business because you're building momentum, as we talked about early, for people to find you and connect with you. Now, if these 10 people leave a survey and you create a survey and you now use the same QR code we talked about early today, QR codes is going to be pretty much your lead magnet. Let me call it that way, your digital lead magnet, if you want to really put it that way. And have a QR code. Let people scan that code, and in that code, take them to your review page or take them to your survey and say, hey, how was this event? We did that with a couple of clients, which was really, really dope. Lucas with the QR codes. Hey, let's go. You create that expression because people will see that. You see like what Lucas you're showing now with the GIF? Now that is like guerrilla marketing, right? Which is amazing because somebody's going to be like, okay, this is exaggerated, but this is exactly what people want to see. Go to Times Square, you're going to see that too. So when somebody is going to see that in that light, someone's going to walk around you and I imagine you're just recording that as content. And people are like, where is this person on the street? Let's find this blue QR code, right? And somebody's going to find you because you're waving, but it's going to take time for them to find it. So it can turn into a game. It could turn into something that's exciting. So when you create these things and people, you now give a survey and say, hey, how was this exercise? How was this event? Was it exciting? On a scale of 1 to 5, did you learn anything? What can we improve on? What can we do better? Would you come again for the next one? And then you could even ask them, if we had a paid event, would you pay for it? You know, when you start asking people these questions, it's going to be easier for you to know exactly how to come back. The worst thing you can do is sell somebody something they're not interested in and they didn't ask for. Those are two negatives. Like it's just not going to work because you've created a disconnect because they came for one thing and you're offering them something else. And the more they hear something else that they don't want, the more they're going to resent and leave. And you don't want that to happen because that's going to affect your score. It's going to feel like a spam score. So if somebody's going to scan that code, it's because they're interested in what you have to say. The reason why somebody goes to that restaurant and they scan that QR code to look at the menu is because they saw the food before, or they saw the menu before, or they were able to interact with the brand before, or somebody told them about what their experience was before you got there. So you're going in there to have that same experience with that same expectation. So if that expectation is met, that's a win. So imagine you create that, and of course it's a win-win because both producer and consumer are happy. So now we can extend that, turn into a review, an attribute, a referral, an advocate, an ambassador, the list goes on and on. So when you now create this QR code, you're building momentum, you're getting people to learn more about your event, and you're getting people to learn more how they can connect with you. These are all coming back to you. So when you now have these events, you tell them about your website, you tell them about your business, and now you can turn those into clients or referrals or founding members, whatever those words or terms would be. It's highly dependent on you. So it's very exciting that we're in a time that we can do all these things and use AI to make this happen. So there's really no excuse, but it's really dependent on how you want to create it for yourself. So that is one way you can also do it too. So with these marketing tactics, these can help you to boost your traffic. Now, I'll leave you with the third one. Hey, Bruno, welcome. I'll leave you with the third one. One actionable business marketing tactic that you can do in 2026 for your business locally. And this is something, if you do, you will never regret it. These three things, you can negotiate, you can do it. If you don't want to, it's fine. Maybe that's not your business style. There are different business types, if different business models. If it fits your model, great. If it doesn't, great. There's always something that works for you. And that's the best part because you want something that works for you. Now, this is the third thing that every business, I believe, can do, including yours. And if you don't want to do it, that's fine, because this is heavily on PR, and PR and branding are kind of like distant cousins in a way. So when you look at it from PR and branding, how do you connect the dots? How are you able to let people learn more about you without you have to tell them every time who you are? Let them find out for themselves, right? And the best way, this third way, actionable strategy you can do as a business, local-wise, is to show up on a podcast. Show up on a podcast show. A podcast show is one of the best places that you can do that. Why? Because if the person that you are on that show with, and this is kind of like a catch-22 in a way, because you also have to be aware of how well this podcast show is, because anything that podcast show produces or publishes has a level of influence, right, on your brand. So if they mention your brand, just like, let's say Forbes mentions your brand, or Time Magazine, or New York Times, or one of these great, amazing publishers cite your website, that's a big score. That's a big signal, right? So think about that same effect as a podcast, but now imagine it on a completely new level, because that's a one-to-one, right? That's a backlink. So somebody connected your website. Oh, you got a do follow backlink to your website property domain because of that canonical tag that you've placed, which has now been attributed to, one up or one upvote, because you have one new signal, and that has increased your signal strength or your backlink authority or backlink profile. That's great. Your portfolio is looking good, right? Now, when you look at it from that perspective as a business, if you have a podcast, then the host of that show is plugging your website in the show notes, and they're distributed on so many different platforms, that's going to be a great gain for you. Because if somebody out there, let's say you bake cookies, and you talked about, how we bake healthy cookies for kids, and I'm just giving you an example, how we bake healthy cooking, warm cookies for kids, and how you can have them with milk, and what types of milk do you put with the cookies, it's just a whole branded thing, which sounds very nice. It sounds very exciting. I want to taste that. Okay, let me see how this goes. Now, as I'm giving you this image, you're picturing the cookies. You're picturing how warm they are. You're picturing with the milk. You're picturing just the experience and the cozy feeling. Now, if I was mentioning that and I talked to you and then a 10 to 30 minute conversation on a podcast show, it could even be more than that. But on average, you're listening to me for at least 30 minutes of talk time. And within this amount of time I've spoken, I have given you information about what we do. And now I'm linked back to this podcast show. Now, this podcast show is live everywhere on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, Pandora. That's if the podcast show itself is distributed on those platforms, plus the rest of them that they will be published on YouTube. There are so many out there. If your link is within their show notes and it's a do follow, and you are highlighted as a business, and you are featured and you are linked, the amount of backlinks you're going to get from that show is going to be tremendous, because you're getting a backlink from their website. That's one count. And then the corresponding websites, third-party platforms that they're already published on, that you have access to now. Hey, Star, long time. Welcome. Happy New Year. Good to see you. And you have these different things that come to play, right? It's going to make a huge difference in your marketing. It's going to make a huge difference in your business, because now that you've been able to allow people to hear your voice, or hear your staff, or hear your ambassador, or hear you, the founder, now the trust score has gone up. There's something in podcasting called listen score, right? The higher your listen score, even it's on listennotes.com with 2 N's, the higher your listen score, in Podchaser, they call it your, what do they call it again? Your power score. Yeah. They're just different analogies or terms to mean the same thing. Just how well are you trusted? Or is your voice trusted enough by the people and by the algorithm? That's the question. And the higher that score goes, the more relevant you are, and the more credible you are, because the more consistent you show up, the more diligent and the more active you are, the more consistent you are. It allows you to build that tenacity, and in turn gives you that capacity to now build above your contemporaries or above your competitors, because you have a comparative advantage. Why? Because you've been on 10 episodes this year as a guest, and now each of those episodes have been plugged to, let's say, 30 or 40 different shows. Now imagine 10 times 40, right? That's 400. So now you have 400 links on the internet because you showed up for 10 hours or you showed up for 5 hours, let's say 30 minutes per episode. But now it's forever living on the internet because you were linked to that show as a mention. If your LinkedIn was also tagged, that's a great thing. So now if somebody locally is saying, hey, I'm looking for the best cookie makers, or where can I find the best cookies for kids, or the best cookies for that are healthy cookies for making, or how do I bake my own cookies with healthy products or healthy ingredients, and you have a business like that, and you show up on podcasts and you're talking about your brand and you're mentioning it in voice, like the way Siri will talk back to you, Alexa will talk back to you, ChatGPT will talk back to you, AI will talk back to you, but you talk back to you because you said it somewhere on the web, because it was transcribed in form of an encoded MP3, and now you're live. Your brand really comes alive at this point, because now you are living and you're giving people information that they can now take. And now if you're referencing to the algorithm, it's going to point back to that episode because you mentioned it 10 times over 10 episodes. And if you're local based and they were able to tag your LinkedIn, your company profile, your website, anything that you have, a service page, a location page, an FAQ page, a glossary page, a product page on your website, that's a deal. Because at that point now, if somebody comes to your website or comes to your store and you have this QR code we talked about in the beginning, you're able to build that relationship with people, get into surveys, do events, right? Show up in different places, have pop-ups, or connect to people online or virtually, or even in person at the most, and build that connection with them. The more it's going to build. For me, it's worked because I've seen it happen, and I've seen it every time it shows up, because the whole idea of what you're creating is for someone to understand the formula. If you take this formula today and just say, okay, I'll create a QR code, I'll go to flowcode.com, I'll go to a QR code, create one, put my website there, or put my details, put my business card, put my menu, put my product list, put my sign-up list, put my lead magnet, put my landing page, whatever it is that you want to put, it's your choice, right? I don't have the right to say anything about what you need to do for your business, because you have the right to do anything that your business deserves for its benefit. So when you create this account and you create this intention, you're setting the intention for somebody to scan it and track it back to you, because you're able to now let people know, hey, check this out, come again next month, come again next year, come again next week. And people start to come back every week. And if you do this 52 weeks in a year, you're golden. You are golden. And it's not a lot. Think about it. The people who are doing 52 in 52 minutes, 52 pieces of content in 52 minutes. So if you have 24 hours, welcome, Michael. If you have 24 hours, you can do a lot. Right now, I've spent a couple of hours with you, right? I just flew back in, right? I had an amazing wedding I went for in Atlanta. It was beautiful. My friends just got married, and I was there to celebrate with them, and I'm back. And I'm like, okay, it's late. I should be sleeping, right? But I'm here because I know I need to do this, because I know, again, I don't have to say this ever again. Or if I do, then it will be in a different format, but the foundation would have been set. And this is something I'm getting because I looked online and I looked at my portfolio, and I was looking at saying, what do people want to hear me talk about? So the people have spoken. People want to hear about actionable strategies, actionable marketing tactics, actionable business marketing tactics, actionable SEO tactics, actionable local business marketing tactics. All these tactics sound like, it's possible, yes, but there needs to be a tactic behind it. And the tactic is to be very strategic with your planning. And your planning means that if you're in the month of January, what are your competitors doing right now? Are they running ads? Are they filling surveys? Are they getting feedback? Are they doing referral programs? Are they doing loyalty programs? What are they doing? You have to know that on your end as a business. But if you don't know, that's where we can come in and do the market research for you and find that out for you, so you can see for yourself, this is what you could be doing too. Because every business is different. So when you have these actionable business marketing tactics as a local business, and you create the intention of letting people know, hey, we have an event here, it's going to be very helpful, because the name of your event on Eventbrite, for example, if you name that Eventbrite link, when you publish it, the very names that you used or the very keywords that you used to publish this event is what's going to automatically turn into a URL, which is a uniform resource locator. So if you are very smart about how you were able to position your keywords from the jump, it's going to be very easy for you to do this. That's why we did this with our client. And we talked about first journaling within her city. And right there, she was able to get booked up. Her event is in February 7th. That's when her event is. And she's already booked up weeks ahead of time. So she can use this time between now and then to warm them up, connect with them, get to know them, meet and greet them online, have a conversation. Don't just be like, hey, come on board, all on board. No, I gave you my contact prior so that I can learn about what I'm about to get invested into with my time to begin with. So all these things are very important. When you take somebody's time seriously and you spend it with the intention of learning about them and not just taking from them, there's a whole exchange that changes for you, because you're able to learn about how you as a business can now turn all those things into a massive intake for you and impact overall. So people on my account said, hey, I want to learn about actionable business tactics. And here it is. So start a QR code, go out there, connect with people, link back to your website. Make sure your website is connected to Google Search Console. Sometimes I don't want to say it, but I have to keep saying it because I don't want you to miss it. Connect your website to Google Search Console, submit your sitemaps, create and submit your sitemaps, start indexing them, whether manually or automatically. Connect them out there. Let people get to see your pages. Connect it to Bing as well. That's Microsoft. Use your social media very accurately, right? If you have a podcast show, build your podcast show around your business. If you don't have one as a guest, be on different shows that you want to be on and learn and connect to them, right? And get to see exactly how you want to build. So if you're doing these things, connecting the dots every single time, it will help you. I'll give you a free tool you can check out. Go to ivy.fm. That's iv.fm. This is for podcasting. Go there, type in any topic of interest, and you're going to see all the episodes. They source about 1 million shows out of 4 million, which makes sense because they're doing I'll call it a smart filtering process. So they get the best of the best filtering. And then if you have a topic of interest, then the episodes you see there, the shows you see there are your competitors directly, or could be your collaborators potentially if you want to be on their show. So there are different ways you can do that, but at least that gives you a head start, because if you know the name of their show and you're listening to it on your favorite podcast player and you get to see if they tell you where you can email them or if they have a website, they'll have that information for you to decide on, and it's easy for you to access. So it's you doing the research or we doing the research for you or us doing the research for you. Either way it goes, it got to be done for your business to flourish, for it to grow, for it to scale. So try these things out, be on a show, let people know about you, get out there, get connecting with people, and get connected with the people specifically. Because the more you connect with them, the more they connect with you. You never know that someone's going to listen to this and say, oh, I didn't know I could use a QR code. That has sparked a whole new idea for somebody who has been struggling to figure out how to get their business out there. So the ball is in your court now. What are you going to do? Are you going to just listen to this and call it a day and skip to the next episode? Or are you going to rewind and apply the knowledge that you just heard? The choice is yours. Hey, Mark. Good evening.
Happy New Year. I wanted to, we're getting kind of late to say Happy New Year, but I haven't talked to you yet this year.
So Happy New Year, sir. How are you? How have you been, and how's the New Year treating you? Tell me all the good things.
New Year is doing awesome. I did 2 speaking events in November and booked a whole ton of discovery calls and have just sold website number 20 for over that stretch. So we're going to be super busy. But I wanted to I'm kind of listening. I'm doing a little bit of work here. But something that you mentioned earlier, and I wanted to just chime in on that. So I scored 2 big PR wins last year, and one of which was an article in the New Yorker magazine where I was quoted extensively throughout the entire article. The next PR win was a very short article in the New York Times where I was quoted twice in just like 1-sentence quotes. All right. The New York Times was the huge win of the 2. So why do you think that was?
That's a great question. And if I look at it from, I'm going to say this tentatively, and then I'm going to say it factually. And then when I come to the factual part, I'm going to ask you about the 2 so I can search on them and you can see the difference. Now, tentatively, what I see is the reason why the New York Times would have done better is because of the domain authority. That's one. It could also be because of the backlink portfolio that they have. And also, SEO wise, when you're quoted, even if you write an article for yourself or LinkedIn or somebody does it for you on a third-party platform and there's a quote and your name is attached to that quote and it's linked to a web page that is connected back to you, that improves a search score signal that actually heightens the value and also improves the credibility of your brand. So that quote in itself is what people are going to use as a set, I'll call it as a capstone for them to even connect with you, because that's what they're going to be thinking about psychologically when they want to hear from you, from what they've already heard you talk about. That's why when you see, like, when people talk about tweets or when you see what people write and then you see what people say, it just marks a bigger, I'll call it trust score value, because now people are actually reading somebody's words, kind of like you're reading someone's book or someone's blog. So that's potentially why that would have had a much higher gain than the other one. Now, factually, I want to ask you, the first one is New York Times. What was the second one?
Okay, so second one was New Yorker magazine. But you are on the right track. You kind of blew it up way more complicated. And the answer I was eliciting was the New York Times gave me a backlink and New Yorker magazine did not. And so that was why my little tiny quote in New York in the newspaper, the New York Times, was way more valuable than the lengthy article in the New Yorker magazine, just because I got a backlink from the New York Times, which is, as you know, a super good thing.
Exactly. I'm glad you brought this up, Mark, because when you said it the last time, I heard the New Yorker magazine and I was like, let me be sure I heard it, because it's both from the same city and this is local based. So if it's New York, you know, someone could say easily it's New York. So why wouldn't they get the same pull? Because it's the same city. And you brought up a very great point in, case in point here, because you could be in the same city or get 2 different citations, but the weight and the threshold of each citation is going to have a different value exchange, because now it's not that the New Yorker magazine doesn't give you that. And because of the backlink that wasn't there, it's not a do follow. And sometimes even with some of the platforms, like with New York Times, I don't know if you got to ask them if it's a do follow or no follow. That's another thing to look at, because that's also going to play a big role. You could get mentioned or cited, and that's a mention. I'll call it like a soft mention, but it's not a hard mention, kind of like a soft pull and a hard pull for your credit cards and for your reports. It's the same thing. So it's like, was it a soft one or was it a hard one? And that's also depending on whether it was a do follow or a no follow. If it was a no follow, it's kind of like a soft, mention, because you were mentioned, but you were not attributed to the mention, but you were quoted within the mention. But now with the New York Times, if it was a do follow, perhaps it was, let's say it was, then you now get that attribute. And how you'll also know is the link that they linked back to. If you go to your Google Search Console, within the link section on the bottom left-hand corner of your dashboard, you will see that website on your dashboard, because that's going to be an integrated system that will be attributed back to your domain property. Because anything that someone links back to you, you can see it, kind of like a security watch. or camera, or security camera, you can do that as well for your website. So as far as linking is concerned. So now that you've mentioned that, have you seen it on your dashboard that you were linked? And did it show exactly where it was linked from?
Yeah, it is. And the first thing I did was go into Ahrefs and make sure, and it was definitely a do follow link. So it was like I hit the jackpot with just literally. Uh, and the funniest thing of all was that this reporter, who's now reached out to me a couple more times, which is great because but these reporters just they keep their list and they keep going back to the well because it's easier than finding new people. Another trick to PR, but yeah, I mean, she reached out to me. I wasn't a big expert on the question, but I just went and did some research and used AI to do some research and gave her the answers that she was looking for. And so that, like, it was just a one-off thing, but a backlink from the New York Times or a source like that, is going to be, I mean, as we all know, backlinks are good. Most of them are good no matter where they come from in quantity, but the quality matters a lot, and you don't get much higher quality backlink than a national newspaper. And even though it's a local newspaper, it's really a national, that and the Washington Post are both, and I'm sure at some point in my wedding expo days, I got a backlink from the Washington Post at some point, but that doesn't really do me any good today.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Mark, you got me thinking about something now, because I did a search because I said I was going to come back with the facts. And I did a quick search as you were speaking, and this now even raises I would say a larger alarm or a higher alarm or a stronger signal. Welcome, Seti and Thomas. Thanks for being here as well. Bruno, I see you. And as well as Mohammed, thank you for being here. I noticed something, Mark. So I did a search on Ahrefs for their domain authority. So New York Times domain authority that I saw was at a 64. And the New Yorker magazine, which I think they're celebrating 100 years now, this year, I believe, and shout out to them too, is at a domain ranking or rating of 91. So you're looking at 64 to 91. That's a big gap. So you were mentioned on New York Times with 64, which is still strong because the average website out there is getting a score anywhere from 1 to 10 or maybe even 20 if it's really that heavy. But from 30 above is really strong, like LinkedIn.com, YouTube.com, Facebook.com, they're in the 90s. These are websites that have been there for decades, like TikTok. I know TikTok came up in 2016. Remember, it was Musical.ly at the time, and that's when I first joined TikTok. But the domain itself, TikTok, was registered in 1996. So when I look at the creativity in between everything going on and I'll call it domain age, because the older the domain is, the more credible, the website is, of course, because it has had a longer term or longer report on the dial or on the servers. So when you look at it from that perspective, you're gaining momentum on both. So think about it like they're both working together. And that's also increasing your attribution, increasing your speed, and also locally getting you the people that are connecting with you. Now, because of these two things happening, Mark, have you seen the after effect of this happening as far as contacts, connections, even online activity within your social media or even search brackets?
I want to say I haven't noticed anything massive. I mean, I've done a whole bunch of other things too, so it's a little hard to isolate. All things are not equal because I got on a couple of big stages in the meantime, and so I can't really point to that. But it is, I just think that is, PR is so important, and the backlinks are so important. It's like one of the things that you can really massage and get some value out of. And I'm sure you talked about this, about the whole, about doing press releases, which are not for the same reason that they used to be. You're just, you're now primarily doing press releases to get backlinks. And we've had some really good success with our clients of just, doing press releases. They're getting picked up all over the place in places that will never bring business to this client. But getting a backlink from WGN in Chicago or something, it's like eventually that kind of stuff does impact your it impacts your SEO. It's one of the things that's pretty easy to manipulate. What do you think?
You're right. It's definitely a great place to build that momentum, because that's what websites thrive on, quality and substance. And if you're within those subdomains and those domains, then yes, it definitely creates a bigger effect for you. And that's what people were doing back in the day. Look at Wikipedia, look at Yelp, look at Wedding Wire. There's so many out there you can mention. Canva, ClickUp. These are websites that were able to build momentum by creating content first for the culture and for the community before they thought about conversions. And that's why they're still leading today, because they were able to give first. So if you're having backlinks, like you said, and you're on these platforms that already been there before and will still be there after, then it also shows that your business also creates that effect, because PR is one way that also shows your credibility. Because if somebody sees you were featured somewhere, it also shows the value exchange that you have. If you're featured on a magazine or on TV, that's why when you get featured on these different shows or different things, if you get featured on a magazine or you get featured, somewhere, and you get these accolades and you get these accreditations, it's great for you because it also establishes your brand online, whether it's by certificate or it's by substance. So it's very important to look at them that way. And I believe every year as a business, you should be able to look forward to those things, because if you have a website that you're paying for, but you're not gaining visibility through podcasting or linking or backlinking or referencing or citing, it's going to be hard for you to scale, because the same things that you're doing as a business should be documented and linked back to you so that you can attribute to those things. And I think a lot of businesses miss on that, because they do a lot of things social media wise or outside social media, but they don't reference it back to their websites. So you'll never know that they did it because it was never documented and it was never online as an evidence of scale for them to use to position themselves within the market. So you're right about that, Mark, but I think a lot of businesses don't know how to even get backlinks to begin with,
Yeah, one of the things that we always recommend our clients to do is to put a links page on their page. And, particularly in the wedding vertical, where I've spent at least half of my time, of these wedding vendors just having a links page and linking to all of their other favorite non-competitive local wedding vendors. Now, as you know, that helps their SEO, not yours, but that is the currency that you use to get them to give you the same thing in return to Favour. And we also recommend, like, all of our venues, because the venue is at the absolute top of the food chain. Like, you can't really plan your wedding until you have a venue. And so the venues are in a position to refer everybody. So we tell the venues, it's like, you know what, put all your preferred vendors on a page and link to them. And then insist that to stay on that preferred vendor list, you have to give us a backlink. And, it is, they don't want to do it. It takes effort and all of that, but it is one of those pretty high up ranking factors for Google of just, they one of their things is they want to give, Google's goal is to give the best answer to the question, and they want to give the most authoritative answer to the question, and they believe you have authority when a bunch of websites link to you. And so the more you can build on that in the, in your local area, that is going to be, again, it's one of those influential factors that you actually have some control over, and it just takes some time to make it happen. So I'll land it there.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Lucas. And
guy, here comes Marenko, junking up the place. No, hello, John. How are you?
He's
sir?
About to slam dunk on it.
I just got back. I just walked in the door from the basketball game, so
I
saw what's his face from down under. I was gonna say hi to him. Thomas, was he in here earlier?
I think it was. A lot of people are in and out today.
Oh, okay. But yeah, Mark, I just got back, so if you want to still talk tonight or we do it tomorrow, it's fine.
Nah, tomorrow's fine because it requires my partner in crime, and I know he's not around yet.
Okay, so yeah, hi Favour. I've got a lot of new stuff I've been working on. I don't know exactly what you guys are talking about, but prompting to prompt, so prompts to prompt to prompt engineer. So like using a bunch of different things to make sure you have the right actionable inputs and outputs. And those are the kind of things I've been doing lately. And then doing a lot of automation stuff. And let's see, what other cool SEO stuff? Oh, I've been working on a YouTube strategy too. 30% shorts, 70% long form. And we've seen some really good action on that. And then I don't know if you guys saw this, but YouTube actually has a Google has a short category on the search. So regular search, you can go to maps, you can go to news, but you can do short video. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Have you tested that, Favour? Like, have you done a short and then tested it for like local? The best way I'm thinking to test it would be like keyword city and see if it ranks there.
Yeah, keyword city would be good, or even like keyword semantic city, would be good too, because I'm thinking about those characters and what you're also saying verbally that's in the captions itself that's auto-generated. So it's kind of like I'll call it a pillar or layering, to that effect, which would be really good, because if you're getting a short clip that's starting at a point where you mention something to begin with the same search bracket, then yeah, it would definitely factor in a great conversion when it comes to video. Yes.
Where are you, like for your testing, are you putting them on YouTube, or where are you making them live? Where's the video live?
This client-wise, the video for them is on their YouTube and also on their sites, on their websites. But when I look at it, for me, I use it more on audio, extensive podcasting-wise, and I'm happy that you mentioned YouTube earlier this year and last year too, and you're doing it. So hats off to you. I'm excited to hear that. That's really good. I use the video specifically when it comes to targeting within different markets. If they have shorts and videos that they want to now push out content-wise, then that's where I'll be able to give them those attributes for them to now create those skills. But for me, myself, I don't usually do videos, which I'm actually planning to get on this year. That's going to be one of my things to get onto, videos and ads, because I don't run ads. We do everything. We do like videos and ads. We do that for clients, but we don't do it for ourselves, because like I practice what I preach. I talk organic and it happens. But now I'm like, okay, it's time to maybe just, shift gears a little bit from, a few gears up and see how that goes with videos. So that's what I'm going to be testing as well for myself, which I'm excited to see where it goes. But I've seen how it goes for other clients and, what it's done for them. So it's definitely a great tool to use for retention online, especially with YouTube too. What are you thinking?
Cool. Oh, I'm just thinking through like, okay, so like the specific client, like like if you have a like for instance, like Mark and Renee work with wedding venues, right? So like, or let's go with the old standard HVAC, like how you take that shorts to actual phone calls or money revenue, right? So it's like the guy that I was listening to. So I've been listening to a lot of people like, hey, this is what you should do. This is the 2026 plan. Some of the people that I listen to is Sean Cannell. He's actually a really good guy. Sean is Sean, Cannell, Cannell. He wrote a YouTube Secrets book. And then there's, of course, Daryl Eves. He's a good friend of mine. And then just some other people that were saying, like, hey, this is what you do. But, like, what I've seen, like, instead of just theory, like, I've actually tested this, right? So, like, for instance, I was at the you guys are going to laugh at me. I was at the basketball game, and I had just put up there's probably, like, 700 videos on this YouTube channel, which is crazy. And I've had the opportunity to work with him for 4 months, and we've optimized and put up, well, there's a bunch of optimization. We've put up, let's call it 30 videos maybe, and we just started to rolling out the YouTube, the shorts. So I'm going to pull up the YouTube studio. So the goal of this conversation is to like say, okay, how can we use shorts to go to long form or to revenue, right? Shorts to revenue. And it was basically like trying to figure that out. Like what's the business model? Is it a wedding venue? Is it a contractor? Is it a restaurant? Whatever. And so it's like, okay, how can we go from a short? So like the shorts and this is a question slash statement. Shorts are like just branding, like get people to go, oh yeah, that's interesting, right? So like what you don't know about local SEO could hurt you. Here's the 2026, and then that's a 60-minute short or 60-second short. And then for more information, watch this long form or go download whatever. But I was just literally at the game and I put up a short, and it's already got 122. This is like less than an hour ago. 122 views. Okay. And usually the long form videos take at least 24 hours, 48 hours to get into the 100, 200, 300 range. So I think it's a powerful strategy for anyone to start uploading shorts for branding purposes and then to go to long form or to revenue. Just what's your thoughts on that?
That's brilliant. Yes, I am 100% in agreement with that. And that would be one of the best ways to even get within the index of Google's API. Because when you look at the SERP and how it's sourcing information, even with ChatGPT, Atlas, and you go to the video section when you're searching within their browser, the AI web browser, for example, the results you're getting are leading to YouTube. And if those keywords are targeted and it's very instructional, it's very based on the keyword and the city, it helps. Because generally, most times when you look at the results online, it's so unfiltered, or let me even use the word unsaturated, because most times you get results that are from 2023, 2024, or even 2020, as far back as 2018, where you get to see those results from videos. But if you now strategically put them like the way you said, John, it can definitely change everything and give more perspective to somebody discovering your brand, for one, subscribing to your channel, and potentially getting to connect with you. And yes, if there's a call to action to that point, to that effect, it also creates more of a demand as opposed to it just being a view. Because 100 views, like you said, 200 views, on YouTube could lead to a high bottom of funnel conversion, rate compared to, 30,000 views, top wise, and you're just getting impression counts and clicks, which is great. But I would say the measurement is different because people have a much different scale. So that's what I would say. And hey, Pierre.
Hey, Favour, good evening. Just thought I'd pop in and say, hey, I'm kind of here at the laptop per usual.
No worries. Welcome.
But don't tell Julie. But tell Julie I'm not. If you see her, I'm not at the library as much. So she always teases me about that. Always good to see you, Favor. Happy New Year
Happy
to
New
you,
Year.
Mark and John. Hello.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, I'm thinking through, like, people get, unfortunately, right? Like, as a human being, it's unfortunately, as a marketer, it's amazing. People get sucked into doom scrolling, or scrolling, so that short can really hit. I mean, I've done it where it's like you're scrolling and mindlessly scrolling. Obviously, you come across, like, so one of the guys that I really, really like is Daniel Priestley, and it's like he said, "Oh, well, we're doing a webinar for 2026 on whatever," and he actually has a really good webinar. It's called "Make It Big 2026." Anyways, part of that promotion is done on a short, right? So people start hearing that. I mean, how many times have you, Mark, or Favor, or Pierre? We haven't had the opportunity to talk a lot, but have opted into something just because of a short or because of an ad, right? And so a short is kind of like an ad, if you will, if you make it an ad. But the short branding, I don't know. It's just something really cool to test, because according to all the people doing it, that's the place to be. Short form, long form, opt-in, revenue. Maybe, Favor, what we should do is we should test this. We should do short form to quiz to checkout. So short form video to quiz to checkout. No in between, no giveaways, just straight checkout page with a low ticket offer. So maybe like $27, $47.
That's some real value. I would definitely be open to doing that. I think we should do this. I'm on board with this, and test it out. Let people get to see a result, and then that way the video will help them, because it's a very specific need. And I love that you're making it very specific, because long videos can be very, I would say, elongated. They could be very, I would say, comprehensive, robust, in depth. But the short is parallel. It's just one-way street. Hey, fix this. You got a flat tire. Switch your tires. It's very direct, so that if somebody has to get that done, then the intention and the conversion rate is higher, because the intent is also at a higher capacity.
Well, yeah, and then I don't know if you guys have seen her videos, but I was just on a kind of a not a one-on-one, but it was like a behind-the-scenes coaching call with her, Maria Wendt, WENDT, and she just had her first $1 million month on low ticket offers. So that's pretty impressive. $1 million month. So she was talking about what she was doing, and she was saying, like, if you're having a problem, obviously it's a little bit different than agency work, right? So like high ticket stuff. But she was saying, like, she's obviously sells information. So she's just driving traffic from her Instagram. So her big thing is Instagram Shorts, Instagram Reels. She's like this big Instagram chick. And so she sells a lot of stuff on Instagram, but it's like Instagram direct to the checkout page. There's no sales page, or it's just like, here it is, buy it, But what my point was, she said, if you're having a problem, just get more traffic to your checkout page. And that kind of stuck.
That can make sense from an analytics standpoint. I tend to think ads to a particular landing page always. I think the challenge also too might be, the only thing to that I'm not challenging you particularly, I'm just the only thing that makes me also think about is, and this gets forgotten about quite a bit, is you can still do what's called A/B testing on whatever page you have to check if you can refine that offer to get that conversion. I mean, I think driving the traffic is one piece of it, but it's the conversion at the sales page that makes a difference. You're always going to have this differential where the traffic will be very, very high, and the conversion rate will be some relatively low percentage. Sometimes it sounds unsexy, but I would think that the frequency of how many conversions you get within a certain time period helps you to kind of see if that's really a good offer. And you can always check that over a period of time. And then maybe like if maybe an A/B test, if you really have this sort of comparison between your baseline and making a minor change, either in the title or even the image, to see if that drives conversion. But without, yeah, I think sometimes people forget about that over time too.
Well, she was using so I'm not theorizing. I'm saying like this chick did $1 million in sales in 1 month. So that's like way beyond what I'm doing. So I'm just saying if she did it, she said she did it. So like I know she's using Samcart, I think it is. So it's their landing page is somewhat of a sales page / checkout page. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it has some sales copy in it too.
I think we lost John after the word sales copy.
Oh no, I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah, we're still listening. We're like, what happened? Hey,
Yeah,
hey Maria.
It's been quiet. Was that?
Saying hi to her, so I put on mute. If you look at her sales pages, just go look her up, Maria Wint. She's again Instagram. If you just go, I think she's using Samcart, but she has sales copy. Like in other words, her sales page and her checkout page are like all in one. So I know the founder of. Not I know the founder, but I know the founder has worked a lot on designing a good checkout page that still has good sales copy signals and graphics and stuff like that. You know, it's not just a simple checkout. But anyways, I'm not questioning you, Pierre. I'm just saying like this is what she did. So it's not a theory. It's like, hey, she did it. So I'm like, hey, cool, you know.
That's interesting. I mean, check her out and take a look at that. And it probably would make. It depends on the product and service. Definitely makes sense for her to do that if it's a very straightforward offer. A lot of times you can get away with that type of stuff too. So,
well, and to be fair, I totally 100% agree with what you just said. And to be fair and I think you'll kind of check, you know, get when you see it, it'll be like, oh, obvious. It's more BizOp offer, BizOp, you know, BizOp like, hey, here's how to make money kind of thing. So people are always going to buy, especially at a $27, and she has upsales, of course. She has other higher ticket products like $97, $297, stuff like that. But at that, selling how to make money is always a good thing, right? Like, here's how I did. This is how she frames it. This is how I did. This is how I made Instagram work for me. This is the strategies, right? So it's all based on here's what I did. Here's how I did. Here, you know, she's a single mom and how she built this business. So it's BizOp / how-to education. And I think, well, let's just move it over to who, have you guys heard the story of the girl who is killing it in the Microsoft Excel space? Like, she literally has sold her course. So I don't think it's a BizOp thing. It's more of a how-to educational thing. And I don't know if you guys know this too. And this is something that I have studied and learned through the process of studying and learning YouTube, is that YouTube long form videos are, the algorithm treats them different than educational based. Like Mr. Beast is entertainment based versus education based. Like if Favour and you and I got on a Zoom and we taught something, right? And we taught it and we put it up to our YouTube channel. more powerful. I don't know the exact words in the algorithm's eyes because it's teaching something. It's not just entertainment based. Like people try to get monetized on the edge, on the entertainment stuff, on the entertainment side, and it's a lot harder, right? So, but I thought that was really cool about the girl with the Microsoft Excel. And like that's the most boringest subject ever, right? But her whole job before she got on social media was, and if you don't know the story, but her whole job before social media was to go around to companies teaching them about how to use Microsoft Excel more efficiently and the little tricks and tips and all the kind of stuff she knows, right? And she's only like 27, like in her late 20s, maybe 30, and now she's on what was her name, like Miss Excel or something like that.
Yeah, she's a big shot. And I think it's also just majorly because of how she positioned herself. And like you said, what you said, I think the major thing I want to also piggyback on what you just said too is the educational value exchange. Because that entertainment versus education is big. More people are learning how to, do things online. And that also increases their capacity to learn more about the things that they can do, and then they'll come back to the same platform. So it creates a retention loop for the producer, like Google, like ChatGPT, because you're always going to get responses as opposed to just actions or, next steps or entertainment that, you'd have to keep creating to stay relevant, to keep sustainability. But if you have a course, it would definitely change a big deal for you. And from what I'm seeing, even with her, I was looking at what you were mentioning. I looked at her website and I realized, she doesn't really have, I mean, if she does, maybe I'm not seeing it.
Oh,
But
Maria or the Miss Excel?
Maria, she
Yeah.
has her SAM card, but she's using, a page, a subdomain, right? Which is still domain based, but she's using it specifically. And even on her Instagram, you can see the full UTM parameter, which also tells you exactly what the goal is for tracking, which makes sense for analytics like Pierre was talking about. So her targeting, her marketing, it's very specific. And shout out to her too, because that's a great thing. At $24, it's a no-brainer for someone. But that's about 42,000 people paying you that amount to get to $1 million. So when you look at the capacity and how many people you can reach online through ads or through, community base or affiliates, it definitely changes the game. So I think that's definitely a point to put out there. And if it's 24 and 24, think about it. How many people are actually going to go through those 24 courses? That's another question, because there's one thing to, you can get the sales, but the impact and the turnover is big. The people who are going to actually do it will do it. Some people may buy it so they can do it for their teams or invest, in companies to actually hire out and do training, which is different. So I believe it's definitely dependent on who they are, what they're doing. But these things are definitely attainable because they've been done before. It's just hard to articulate them. So You're right about that.
Yeah, totally.
I think the other interesting thing that John that you bring up is again, I don't have my I'm not on the page to look at her directly, but just to mention when you mentioned about the sales. Oh, here we go. I tend to scribble notes, so forgive me a little bit old school that way. But when you talked about the sales page and checkout page on one, that kind of ties in a lot to what I know. Favour talks about AI quite a bit and the visibility of it. I have to wonder now with web pages how much consolidation that we will see with these type of strategies. Because if you think about it, the way that analytics have worked has usually been you infer the behavior based off of if a page was loading in a browser. And you also infer based off of what you would get from search. But with AI being able to kind of almost pick up content instantaneously and organizing it statistically very quickly, it becomes how can you be more efficient with your pages in some ways to get a message out that can be clearly interpreted. So I like that you brought that highlight, John. Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, good. Another thing too, I mean, to help, obviously we all use AI and stuff like that, but I've been using the Joel Erway power offer for, if you guys haven't heard of him, Joel Erway, Erway. He actually has a low ticket offer called How to Create a Power Offer. It's actually way worth the investment for especially that much money. But if you just go to ChatGPT, you can kind of get the gist. I mean, if you really want to invest, obviously $27 is no brainer. But he talks about like the power offer, and the power offer is not like, hey, would you like to get married? You know, right? The power offer is like, hey, there's a great coffee house around the corner. This is obviously a girl-boy analogy. Hey, there's a great coffee place around the corner. Would you like to get, a cappuccino or something and sit down and talk for 5 minutes, right? That's an easier offer to say yes to than let's get married. And we all obviously know that analogy. But if you look into what Joel has created using AI to help you, it's awesome. Like, it really helps you think outside the box. And the connection here is take that power offer and then put it into the checkout page. So for instance, like I'm working with a water filtration company in the Arizona area, Phoenix. So I just, they don't know anything about marketing. They're like, yeah, we'll give $300 off and free installation. I'm like, well, that's like a problem aware person. What about the person who doesn't know the problem, right? So I had to come up with some copy. So I'm using the Joel Erway offer. And this is not a low ticket offer, but the AI really has helped me build out and understand what the problem is, and then language it into sales copy, which obviously then I can put it on my landing page. It's not a checkout page. It's more of have a appointment page, but it's super, super. My point of all this is super helpful to understand how to write copy in a way that people are raising their hand like crazy.
Exactly. And I think that's the goal. The goal of everything that we're doing, these actionable strategies and tactics, they're all applicable, they're all test worthy, and they're all possible, and they're going to work differently for different industries. But depending on exactly what you wanted to fix or what you wanted to do, it changes everything entirely, whether it's backlinks or fixing pages or getting to the sales page or helping somebody figure something out or giving them a tutorial, whether it's a mini course, then it makes a lot of sense. Because I would, like, if I was to do this, John, now that I'm thinking about this, and I've thought about it, at scale and also within micro and macro, but now that I'm hearing it again in this way, I'm thinking, okay, it would also make sense if I could translate it for every 60 seconds I'm spending to analyze something. Let's say I spend 60 seconds and I do that 24 times. So that's 24 minutes of my time, but you're getting $24 worth of exchange, but you're solving 24 problems at one go. Would that be more effective for somebody, or would they rather have to pay something higher than that to get the same problem solved? Kind of like a troubleshooter in a way.
Well, maybe I heard you wrong, but this is what I heard, and so correct me if I heard you wrong. But like what Daniel Priestley talks about is you just got to listen. There's so much value in his stuff, but like if somebody did buy that, right, that's just a stair step of like, okay, yeah, I want to download Favor's knowledge, right? But then they get in there like, oh my gosh, this is way too much. I'm just going to hire them on a one-on-one coach or as a one-to-many coach in a group coaching setting. Hey, join my $997 a month group coaching, blah, 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 whatever. If you want to hire him to come speak, it's $5,000 for the day, right? So it could just be you're just getting people into your community for the $24.
Correct. Yeah. It's more like a front-end offer that would You're right, exactly. A front-end offer that is going to attribute to the exchange and also create a commitment. That I talked about it too some time back on free trials and paid trials. Because when somebody gets a free trial and they don't have to spend any money on it or put their card on file, then it's different. But if they have to put their card on file and it's a paid trial and they're paying $1 for it, for example, yet the value of it is way higher than $1, then that exchange in itself has already created a trust because there's an encryption also that has been established. So that sale is I mean, think about it. You can get 1 million page views, but if nobody goes to the checkout page or puts their card on file, then was it a success or was it a flop? Or was it something that was not done well? So that's what I was referring to, just having a place where somebody can learn, get to identify the problem, and then see the value, and then decide if they want to do it themselves or hire us because we've been able to show them the diagnosis from the results they're looking for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, I mean, if we can switch gears just a tiny little bit here, this actually is applicable to you, Mark, if you're still there, if you didn't fall asleep. I'm just kidding. Or maybe he did fall asleep.
No,
oh, there he is.
I'm here. I'm writing contracts. What are you talking about?
Wait, that's right. He just closed 5 deals. Mark, you are one of just a small handful of my friends that is like a sales closing machine. Like anytime I talk to Mark, he's like, I closed another deal. But and you know, here's why, Favour, just so you know why Mark closes deals. Guess why? He positions himself in front of his perfect audience. That's it. That's all he does. And he stands up and says, my name's Mark. I can help you buy my website stuff. And he closes. I mean, obviously he has a little bit more than that, but I mean, and I'm not being funny. I'm that's a genuine compliment. That's pretty cool, you know? But you don't sell them from stage. You sell them what were the strategy call? What were you trying to what did you call it, Mark? You sell them.
So the I subtly sell from the stage, and there's an art to that. But then at the beginning of the presentation, at the end, there's a QR code that they can get a website audit, which is pretty much Mark spends 30-45 minutes with them, walking through their website, showing them everything that they could do better, show them a lot of examples of what we could build for them, of things that we have built that would be way better than what they have. Do an Hrefs report for them and show them how much their SEO sucks, and I'm closing like 25%. So that is it has been I've gotten pretty good. I did 90 of these in 2025, and I recorded every one of them, which is now going to be my Ask Mark Anything about websites AI that I'm going to do. But yeah, I did 90 of these calls in 2025, and again, sold about 25% of them.
That's cool. Amazing. Very good, very good. Oh, so where I was going was,
besides Mark is awesome salesperson and is writing contracts all the time, where else were you going, John?
Well, actually, I was going to invite Favour up to Chicago, and you and I can take Favour out to the steakhouse that we went to. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll be there next month, by the way.
Oh yeah, well, hey, make sure you get in contact with me. Mark flew to Chicago, and I met him there. We went out to eat, and that was really fun. No, so on a serious note, the GeoGrids, the local Google business profile, and GeoGrid map software has officially changed. It is officially not working. So there's been a lot of chatter in the last, 5 weeks. So like I use Local Dominator, which is a GeoGrid software Then there's, of course, Local Falcon, there's Bright Local, there's all these different geo grid Google Business Profile analysis software. So what I was going to ask you guys, Favour, Mark, or Pierre, what have you seen in that world? Because I have seen, like, literally I have a company just north of me in Wisconsin, and I did a manual search with a browser extension, putting me in that city, and I did keyword, city, state. So it would be keyword, and then I used the city. It was Janesville, Wisconsin, so Janesville, WI. And my client was in the 3-pack, but when I did the actual GeoGrid of the map, it was probably like a I don't know, 13 mile by 13 mile ish. In that city, they were on the GeoGrid, they were number 8. And I'm like, oh wow. And so then I had some other people, some chatter, were like, every software was different. And so there's this whole little conversation saying, like, it's like 2026 is going to be a lot different now for Google Business. Anyways, have you guys done anything or heard anything, or have you analyzed that?
I haven't looked into the geo mapping itself, but I have been looking at it from a zip code standpoint, which is a little different. But when you talked about the radius, yes, I've been looking at it too, even within Pinterest, because majorly when I see maps, citations that are coming from, let's say, Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze Maps, these are platforms that I get to see, like, where would they be pinging to the most, what would be coming up as a result. Then also going to the Google search, and then going into the Google SERP API to see also where that's coming from. I noticed that there's a lot of change. And basically, when I see these things too, it also points back to the site architecture, or I could say the architectural site build up from the ground up. When I look at websites that, let's say, they may have some local business schema tags or schema markup tags that they can use to, build that intention, or if they have, ratings, or if they have anything to do with reviews or pricing, those are measures that they can also look at. So I look at it from that standpoint, because most of our clients come to us, basically to make sure that they have that AI visibility, they have SEO visibility, and they're also relevant in their markets. Because a lot of businesses, they don't even know where their positionings are. But when they're able to know where they can reposition or scale from the position they already know they're at, then it's easier for us to know how we can land them there based on targeting. So it's different.
Yeah,
from
but wait a second. How are you gauging that? Like, that's my point of, like, if usually the old school way of doing it was running the GeoGrid, saying, okay, I'm good on the north side of town, it's all green, it's all 1 and 2s. But on the south side of town, it was, red, or it was orange, or whatever. So, like, what I'm saying is those GeoGrid ranking reports are not accurate anymore. So how are you actually gauging success? Like, so the old school way of success was, like, if it's all green, guess what? You're ranking good. That client is number 1, number 2, or number 3, right? So what's your new metric of success for the local 3-pack?
That's what I was mentioning earlier, that I'm not using it within a GeoGrid per se, within a block setting. It's more of an open source setting. So how I'm able to look at it is based on the longitudes and the latitudes within the zip codes. So if I'm searching and I know that this business is within this area, for example, we have a client that is based in a very sub-city within New York. It's called Floral Park, an amazing place, and they do massage therapy, and they do that for, like, businesses locally. So when we're looking at their results and looking at their packs, we're looking at how their competitors are compared to them, and how much business they're also getting foot traffic wise, and also online traffic wise. They have tens of thousands of, contacts on their lists and move them from constant contact to flow desk. So when we now see the results when people are searching locally, I always tell them, please make sure that anytime they call you on phone or they walk in, you ask them how they found you. So we're using the longitudes and latitudes to position them within their zip codes, and know that if they have neighboring zip codes or neighboring area codes that they operating based on miles, if they have to drive 5 miles to this location or 20 miles to a location, we use the longitudes and the latitudes to gauge that back into our system. And then analytics wise, there's Fathom. We use Fathom Analytics. So it's just very specific on those cities that we can gauge back into the system to know exactly where we're getting it from. So I'm not using a system or software to track that. I'm looking at the real-time data and then tracking back that, with analytics and the build up from the I'll say the brand and also the exposure to the experience that they're also delivering on a quarterly basis. Because of course,
So you're using GBP to drive traffic, right?
I'm using GBP to drive traffic, yes, but not necessarily from the central point of itself being the core and the only platform or the only product within the capacity of them gaining more visibility. Like they use Pinterest as well, they use email, they use,
Right.
blogs, they use other third party like MindBody, which is a great third-party tool that they use within their software base. So there are other third-party attributions that we're using, not necessarily just pointing to one, but it's more of one to many.
Okay, maybe you could show that to me offline sometime, whatever, because that's interesting. But you said you're using Fathom. Okay, cool.
And actually talk to them, like the founders or the people who have, built the apps or developed them, because I'm not just jumping onto any app or any platform. And when I see how it is, it's about $15 a month, which is pretty fair because Google Analytics is free. But if you're getting like really good data from there, and you're even getting UTM parameters, you're getting paid organic tracking, it's a win-win because you're able to really see where your ads are running and your organic is being, I would say attributed to. Yeah, I'll definitely show you that as well, John. But yeah, this was definitely good. And I feel like it was very helpful for those listening because all these tactics we're talking about are things we're already doing or we have tried before. And we still have a lot of things to try. So if they haven't tried it, they can try it. If they have tried it, they can try it again in a different way. And, there's so many ways you can apply the same knowledge, but in different capacities. So thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I feel kind of bad for those SaaS companies that did try to do that, because one of the things I've been chatting about is like you have all these softwares pinging all those different locations. So can you imagine like a geo grid that's like 100 different latitude and longitudes, and it's like ping, 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 ping. So you have a lot of that's what Google, remember September 10th of last year? September, when they make that change, when they were trying to get rid of all the scrapers and stuff. Yeah. So cool. Well, I'm tired, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah. I'm tired too. I need to sleep because I just flew in. I was just mentioning I flew in. I was in Atlanta for a wedding, flew in today, and I just said, let me jump on the app and see what's going on. And I'm glad I did this because I've been saying I've not been on the app. I think this is my second room of the year, which is very slow for me. But I'm also pacing myself to make sure that I'm delivering what I'm getting as feedback. So I'm glad I did the room. But I'm also glad that you guys also came as well. So thank you, John.
Cool. Yeah.
Thank you, Mark.
We need to do a scheduled room for some more. Maybe we could do a Zoom too. You and I do a Zoom and a room at the same time.
Yeah, Zoom rooms are fun. I haven't done those in a while. We should bring that back. Yeah. Okay. We'll talk offline and schedule something. This is it this week? Today is what? Monday. Yeah, let's plan something this week or next week and then, get that going. So I'm definitely all in for that.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Mark, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And Pierre, Favor, thanks.
Yeah, pleasure meeting you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, you too.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm out too. Good night, everybody. Favor, great to see you again. John, of course, we talk every day. And Pierre, Happy New Year to you too, sir. And talk to you all soon.
Right,
Take care, Mark.
Take care, y'all. In the room today. Pierre, you got a hot mic.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. Thank you all for being here. It's been great. And I see you, Dr. Fashion. Thank you for being here as well. Tide, Melisha, thank you for being here as well. Deola has been here the whole time, so thank you for being here. And I hope you guys have learned something new. Whatever you've heard today, whether it's anything to do with QR codes, backlinks, PR, podcasting, YouTube, you've heard it all. Creating AI responsibilities, creating links back into your website, tracking your analytics. These are all actionable tasks that you got to do. And if you don't do it, someone can do it for you. I can do it for you. You can hire somebody out there to do it for you, but get it done so that the earlier you're able to do it, that's one less thing for you to worry about, which increases your capacity and also improves your brand visibility online in 2026. So thank you, Mark, for being here as well. Pierre, Deolu, Dr. Fashion, Tyne, Alicia, and everyone as well that's going to listen to this. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and thanks for joining today. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you guys in the next room. Take care. If you have reached this point of the episode, I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show. I hope this has helped you, given you some insight, because every time I come on here, or anytime I bring somebody on here, a guest, a speaker, anyone that is of relevance to you listening, is always going to give you educational value, definitely entertainment value, and most importantly, empowerment value. So thank you for listening to the We Don't Play podcast show every day. And if you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me. Click the links in the description, or go to info@playinc.online, info@playinc.online, and book a call. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk SEO. Let's talk marketing. Let's talk business. Let's talk scaling. And I look forward to meeting you and learning more about you and your business. Till we meet in the next episode, have a blessed evening. Have a blessed day, night, wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Bye for now. And don't forget, Jesus loves you.